talk about a number of upcoming conventions and meetings that are being held here at the re-energized, remodeled Buffalo Convention Center. I'm joined by Patrick Kaler, Visit Buffalo Niagara, and Jeff Calkins, the Executive Director here at the Convention Center. And we'll talk a little bit more about some of the upcoming conventions, but also the impact that this has on our community. And there's a big one that starts later this week. They're actually doing the load-in starting today, and that's the American Cheese Society's National Conference, in which more than 1,000 individuals in the cheese industry will be coming here to Buffalo, to the Convention Center, to our community, investing their money, spending it here at our hotels and our restaurants, and also showing off the latest in the cheese industry. So I'm certain quite a few of us will be here later in the week to see if we get some free samples. But this is an example, this conference, the conference that's coming up right afterwards, the North American Science Fiction Writers Convention. These are conferences we would have not gotten in the past, but for the investment that county government made in the Convention Center, as well as the great team that is here at the Convention Center. Convention Center has been known for a long time for the food service, for their ability to deliver for conferences, but we always heard from folks, yeah, you got a great convention center, but it just looks so old. And that's why the county invested $6 million to redo the facade, has invested money otherwise with regards to the lobby here. There's other plans to invest in the Wi-Fi going forward, work that was done in the main ballroom to make it brighter. A lot of people have said, what'd you do to the ballroom? It looks bigger, it looks much better. And all it was really was some coats of paint. But it goes to show what you can do with a facility that while old, if you invest and make it new, it will bring new conventions here. And this is just the start. There are many more that will be coming later this year and in the next couple of years. And I'll turn it over to Patrick Kaler to talk a little bit more about that. But I remember when we were investing in this facility, we were getting some negative feedback from those in the community who were saying, it's not going to matter. You're not going to be able to get national conferences. Well, we're not going to compete against New York, Chicago, Orlando, and Las Vegas. Those are much bigger facilities with much more rooms for hotels, and we're not going to be able to compete with them. We've always said we were not here to compete against those entities, but we knew we could compete against the Hartfords, the Grand Rapids, the Pittsburghs, and the Clevelands for regional conferences, as well as some of these other areas across the country where we're now getting national conferences where we didn't get them before. The upcoming conferences are going to have a $7 million impact locally, financially, money that's being brought into our community. So there's more money that's going to be brought just in the upcoming weeks into our community than what Erie County spent with regards to improving the facade in the last couple of years. And then when you include the other conferences that are coming, more than $30 million just in the next year and a half alone, that's additional money that we would not have received. Those are people that are coming in here and are staying at hotels, going to restaurants. So they're paying sales tax. They're paying hotel taxes. They're investing in our local community by shopping at local stores. They're going to see some of the other sites. I guarantee you, people that are coming for this American Cheese Society conference are going to go and see some of our wonderful arts and cultural institutions in our community, as well as we know, probably go up to Niagara Falls as well. This is why we invest in these facilities, to bring people here so that they can have an incredible experience in Buffalo in the summer. We know a lot of people think about Buffalo and its weather. Well, I can't wait for them to come here and see the great weather that we're going to have in the upcoming week and realize that this is a wonderful community. And I'm very glad that they're coming, the American Cheese Society, the National Science Fiction Writers Association, and the others, because when they come here, they're going to spread the message about Buffalo. We came there. They got a great convention center. It's a great community, and hopefully they'll be back in the future. And this would not be possible without our great partners here at the Convention Center and Visit Buffalo Niagara. Visit Buffalo Niagara and its team works very hard to bring these conferences here. We would not have gotten this without the investment from the county, but we certainly would not have gotten this without the incredible team that Patrick Kaler has put together that can go out there and sell our community. For many years, people would have thought, Buffalo, I'm not going there for a conference, I'm not going there for a convention. That's long gone. We're getting conferences and conventions we never would have had in the past, and it's a result of the great team and effort that Patrick Kaler and the Visit Buffalo Niagara staff have put together to sell our community. We know how wonderful Buffalo and Erie County is. Now the rest of the world is finding out. And I want to thank Patrick and his team and invite him up to say a few words about what's coming in the future as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So much thanks goes to the county executive and our county legislature for these major improvements that have been made into the physical plant of the convention center. Yes, that does make a huge difference in our overall selling proposition. As the county executive mentioned, we did hear lots of complaints about the overall physical plant of the convention center, how the facade was not welcoming. We couldn't necessarily divide the lobby into different sections so that we could host multiple events at the same time. Just the openness and the airiness that the convention center welcomes now people into our lobby. Plus, as he said, a fresh coat of paint has gone a long way in our first floor meeting room space. So thank you so much for your commitment to the facility, as well as the investment into Visit Buffalo Niagara and the convention center. Without the county support, we wouldn't be able to do the business that we do. So you've heard me say many, many times that the overall tourism side of things were the hardest hit and the slowest to recover from the pandemic. We are still in recovery mode on the meetings and convention side of things. We've already recovered as far as our overall numbers on hotel visitations, the revenue that's generated. We've actually exceeded on hotel revenue generated, but it's those big groups that are coming back, and we're starting to see the momentum now. And that's why all of these improvements are so important, because it helps tell the story. But Visit Buffalo Niagara, the Buffalo Niagara Convention Center, no, the Buffalo Convention Center. Gosh, I knew I was going to do that. We have used the post-pandemic time to restructure, reimagine, and re-energize the work that we do on behalf of bringing business to Buffalo. We've been working on our staffing, our overall sales tactics and strategies, our marketing and messaging. So post-pandemic, we have rebuilt the staff of both Visit Buffalo Niagara and the Buffalo Convention Center. We've hired a new general manager, Jeff Calkins. We're back to being fully staffed on our sales and services side of things. We've even hired a salesperson in the DC market to help us be a little bit more nimble in working with those national associations where we have boots on the ground in Washington, D.C. We also have a brand new chef here at the Convention Center who's getting rave reviews. I believe that he actually just got a big hug from one of our big annual events, the ECMC springtime event that takes place here. It went off flawlessly, and the big thing is always the food, so we're very pleased about that. We've also reimagined our overall sales strategies. We came up with a booking incentive promotion for talking about the new facade, the other upgrades that we have put into the convention center, as well as the introduction of our new sales team. This is a great way for our introduction of our new sales team, as well as talking about the incentive program that we have here at the center. Again, like I said, these improvements have made a huge difference in getting the attention in our overall storytelling. We've also started partnering with Invest Buffalo and the Department of Environment and Planning at the county to help us tell the economic development stories here in Buffalo, to use our industries here in our own community to help lure those conventions to our destination. That they have built-in thought leaders who can be speakers. They can do off-site tour inspections and site inspections while they're here. We've also been very intentional in hosting groups that would also bring back future business by hosting those planners. Last year we hosted the MPI Thought Leaders as well as the Arrowhead Conferences Leadership Retreat. We also hosted this year the Select Traveler Conference. Next year we'll be hosting the African American Traveler Conference, bringing in 150 planners. Also in 25 we'll be hosting Small Market Meetings Conference, which will also bring in 250 planners into our destination. Why these are important is that we are bringing in those planners who will bring in future business. So it's not just a one-off, like cheese will come in this week and all those folks will go home. But these other pieces of business are actually bringing in planners who will bring us future business in future years. So that's very much a win-win situation for us, not only to host the convention, but also to have the residuals after it takes place. The sales team attends over 50 trade shows on an annual basis. Keep in mind, they're only 52 weeks out of the year. So our team my great team behind me, is always outselling and promoting our destination to bring these pieces of business to our community. We'll also be hosting our 10th annual Customer Advisory Council meeting, who are made up of meeting planners, association presidents, and CEOs who come to our destination to help us plan for the following year. We've also been reimagining our marketing and our messaging storytelling, looking at the different stories that we can talk about with the upgrades taking place at the convention center. We've put into place a whole new print and digital advertising campaign specifically for the National Association market. We've also been more aggressive with our social media presence and engagement on LinkedIn, going right to those meeting planners and sports right holders who will think about Buffalo. In 2025, we're going to have new marketing dollars that we're going to be putting into place. VBN is currently in the process of awarding a new contract for an agency of record who will, in addition to putting out a new branding campaign on the leisure side, but will also develop a whole new campaign for meetings and conventions and sports to, again, further promote our destination. As the county executive said, we have about 4 different pieces of business through the rest of this year that will bring in 8,000 people with an economic impact of over $7 million. And that doesn't include the world's largest disco or some other things that will be taking place that happen on an annual basis. But these are large conventions that will be filling up the space. In 25 and 26, we have 22 meetings on the books right now that will bring in 22,000 people with an economic impact of over $30 million in economic impact. Some of those include the National College Testing Association Annual Conference, World Canals Conference, the American Association of Aerosol Research, the Center for Inquiry Annual Conference, and the National Indian Educators Association. We also right now have over 60 leads that are outstanding that could potentially turn into definite business that go through 2028. That includes over 70,000 possible attendees and a $52 million economic impact. So you can see that Buffalo is back on track. We do have the opportunity to bring more people into our destination, leaving lots of economic impact behind in their wake. So would you like me to bring Jeff up next? Next, I'd like to introduce Jeff Calkins, the General Manager of the Buffalo Convention Center.
Thank you. Well, thank you. And I'll take this opportunity to thank the county executive and county government for supporting us all these years. I mean, the improvements made have definitely made a difference. Our sales team behind me really makes everything work, but they can tell you that the impact of out-of-towners coming into this facility makes a difference when they see a bright, new facility as they walk in. And it's to the point where, a side story, the executive director of the American Cheese Society actually was looking for real estate after her visit here last year because she fell in love with Buffalo. So, and she was moving from Denver to Buffalo. So the impact of getting people here and actually seeing our community and experiencing it really works. And as with my staff behind me, really, this is what the team that really makes it happen. It just takes this convention like this week, and every detail of every minute of the week is written down and followed so that the experience here from our clients is the best. And that's really how we get our reputation, and we really have gone to the next level in attracting new business to Buffalo. So I'd like to thank the county executive. Patrick and his staff are remarkable to work with, and my own team that really day to day just make it happen. So thank you. And I just took a few events that we have had in the last weekend. We had Comic-Con. I don't know if anybody experienced that. We had a record crowd last weekend, over 12,000 people, to the point where they're going to come back for a second show now in the fall. So it really, not only conventions, but all events are really starting to come back, experience Buffalo, and really make a difference. So, that, as well as in the fall, we have an event called Brick Fest Live, which is a Lego convention. And they're doing a tremendous job on their social media, but that is going to be another one of those shows that are going to surprise us with the attendance. So there's a lot of new conventional and non-conventional events that are coming our way, and it's because we've sort of opened up the the curtains to more and different events that we can host here and bring to the Buffalo market. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. This just goes once again to show that our community is back. Patrick and I meet every few months. We talk about how things are going with regards to the tourism industry. Things have turned around. The Canadians are coming back. The numbers are up at the airport, taking a little longer than we would have liked, but it just goes to show that we are back. And when it comes to this facility, we are getting those conferences and conventions that we never would have gotten in the past. We were lucky we got regional conventions, we might get a statewide, occasionally we get a national, but as was noted, we have a number of national conventions that are coming into our community, and it's because of the investment that the county government made in a building that the county owns. That's why we invest in it. It is owned by the people of Erie County, and as a result, we need to invest in it to create a better future for all of us, and I want to thank my partners in the legislature for doing that. And if there are any on-topic questions, we'll take those first. And if there's any off-topics, we'll take those afterwards. Any on-topic?
How much more of an impact is this compared to periods maybe in the past before the renovations that took place here at the convention center?
Well, we have to sort of be pre-COVID, because you can't really look at the COVID period. The impact is big. If there's anything that's actually holding us back right now, it's not the convention center, it's hotel. We are down on hotel rooms with the Adams Mark, Buffalo Grand being off. I know Doug Jamal has a plan to turn about 250 of the rooms across the street at the Statler to hotel rooms, which would very much help us. I think we could actually get more and even some larger events if we had more hotel stock that was within immediate walking distance. So from a convention center standpoint, we are far ahead. The one issue that we are hurting is the number of hotel rooms because of what appears to be the permanent closure of the Adams Mark / Buffalo Grand. And if we do get those additional 250 rooms across the street, that will help Patrick, his team, Jeff, and their team further market and get bigger conventions here.
So right before COVID, there was obviously the plans to invest a huge amount of money into the convention center. Being that the convention business is going back up, is there any idea to reassess that in the next 5-10 years?
Not at this point. What we did here was to ensure the viability of our convention business for at least the next decade. I don't think there's a reason to revisit that at this point. We had a big plan. If we had tried to implement that plan right now, that number would have gone up substantially just because of construction costs. And we never were going to be able to compete against the New Yorks, the Orlandos, the Chicagos, the Philadelphias, the Vegas events. We were always trying to ensure that we could keep our market share. And what we've been able to do with the investment here is keep our market share. So at this point, I don't see a reason why we would be looking at a new convention center, at least for the next decade.
Just in general, when it comes to the convention center, is it easier booking things more in, say, July than compared to like January, or is it?
Turn it over to Patrick and Jeff on that one.
Well, prior to the pandemic, it was a little bit more difficult for us to book meetings and conventions during the summer months because the hotels could command a higher rate during that time of year. This year has been a little bit more special for us because we've had not only the American Cheese Society, the science fiction writers. A couple weeks ago, we also had the National Confectioners. We were able to get those because the hotels were hungry and they wanted to make sure that they had their rooms filled. So I think that eventually we may go back to the situation where we don't see as many meetings and conventions taking place during the summer because of the demand during summer months. But we're very fortunate right now that we do have the ability to fill during the summer months because there are several different associations that do meet during the summer. So hopefully we can keep that momentum going as well. Also, just to play off of what the county executive was talking about with our hotel situation, that is the biggest thing that's holding us back right now is our lack of hotel rooms with the 500 rooms being offline. One of the meetings that I mentioned was that will be taking place in the coming years is the National Indian Educators. We had to break that up into about 8 different hotels. Meeting planners don't like to sign that many contracts with hotels. They prefer really at the most 3 contracts. Luckily, we were able to sell the destination. They loved what they saw here in Buffalo. They loved our relationship with the Seneca Nation, and they chose us over a destination where they had 2 large hotels right next to the convention center that would have been much easier. But they awarded us because of what we brought to the table as far as our overall destination experience. It's a challenge, but we can overcome those challenges in some certain instances. But the hotel inventory is our biggest concern right now.
How much has the renovations itself helped with increasing of bookings at convention centers?
Oh, it's been massive. I mean, even just to be able to go out and put into the National Association of Publications that the renovations have taken place, that we have this new facade, that the new facade is featured, during the night games during the Bills season, that when they're doing the drone shots and you see the Buffalo Convention Center right there during the game. But to be able to tell that story got the attention, got meeting planners to think about Buffalo. So that was very important to us. But just the overall feeling when you walk into the convention center, that it feels a little bit more bright and airy and contemporary rather than the bunker that it used to feel like. And that you do have this welcoming facade on the outside as well. It just is more approachable and, like I said, a little bit more contemporary and modern for these conventions that are traveling all over the country, that have opportunities to go to brand new convention centers. And, we've done a beautiful job with the facade and the lobby. And like I said, a coat of paint has made a huge difference in the meeting rooms as well. They feel a lot more open and larger.
Any other on-topic questions? If there are, I'll take off-topic, and you don't have to stand there if you don't want to. Depending what the off-topic question is, you might not want to be in the background.